Have you ever stopped to ask yourself why the same patterns keep showing up in your life? Why you keep thinking, feeling, or behaving in ways that don't serve you, no matter how hard you try to change them? As a therapist, one of the most powerful things I help people understand is this. The way we live is often shaped by a set of deep, mostly unconscious beliefs. These beliefs form early in life, and over time they shape how we think, how we feel, and how we behave, and ultimately the kind of lives we build. We can think of this process like a loop. Beliefs create thoughts, thoughts create emotions, emotions create behaviours, behaviours create outcomes. And here's the important part. Outcomes tend to reinforce the very beliefs we started with. That loop keeps spinning, often outside of our awareness. Let's say you're carrying a core belief like, I'm not good enough. It's not something you walk around saying to yourself every day, but it's there beneath the surface. That belief starts to influence your thoughts. You might walk into a room and immediately think, everyone else here seems way more confident than me. That thought brings up emotions like anxiety, a sort of self-doubt, maybe even shame. And those emotions drive behaviour. You might avoid speaking up. You might shrink into the background. And the outcome? Well, I guess you feel overlooked, disconnected, or like you don't belong, which only reinforces the belief that you're not enough. And around it goes. It's a cycle. And when you don't interrupt it, it starts to define us. But here's the good news. This pattern is not permanent. It's learned, which means it can be unlearned. In therapy, we work to interrupt this loop at multiple points. So you can start to shift not just what you do, but how you see yourself and what you believe to be possible. So let's break this down. First, we can begin at the level of thought. Many therapeutic approaches focus on identifying and challenging automatic thoughts. We learn to ask, is this thought true? What evidence supports it? What might I be assuming? Over time, this builds what we call a cognitive flexibility, the ability to see more than one perspective. And as your thoughts begin to shift, your emotional responses often follow. But it doesn't stop there. We also work at the emotional level because many beliefs aren't just intellectual, they're emotional. They're stored in the body, shaped by experiences, especially in childhood when we didn't have the words to process them. A belief like, I'm a burden, often carries layers of sadness, rejection, or shame. In therapy, we create a space where these emotions can be acknowledged, these emotions can be felt and understood. That kind of emotional processing is essential because until a feeling is met with compassion, it usually keeps running the show, in fact, from behind the scenes. And then we look at behaviour. This is where it gets really empowering because sometimes we don't have to wait for the belief to change before we do something different. We can act first. When you take small steps, saying no, asking for help, speaking your truth, you begin to collect new experiences that challenge the old belief. You're creating new data, and the nervous system learns, maybe I can do this. Maybe I'm not who I thought I was. That's why behavioral change in therapy is never about forcing yourself to just do it. It's about choosing aligned actions from a place of self-understanding, not self-punishment. So we work across the full cycle, as it were. We question thoughts, we soothe emotions, we try new behaviours. And through it all, we keep coming back to the deeper beliefs that shape the story of who you are. Now, here's where things really start to shift. Over time, this process creates what's called a corrective emotional experience. It means that you begin to experience something different than what you were expecting. Something that, in effect, contradicts your old belief. Maybe you set a boundary and the relationship doesn't fall apart. Maybe you speak up and someone actually listens. Or maybe you feel shame arising and instead of hiding it, you stay with it and find that you're still okay. Each of these experiences plants a new seed, a new possibility. Eventually the belief itself begins to soften. I'm not good enough might become, I'm learning to believe I have value. I'm unlovable might become, I'm worthy of care, even when I'm struggling. These new beliefs don't just feel good, they're transformational because they lead to different thoughts, different emotions, and different behaviours, and a different life. Now, I want to be straightforward about this. This work takes time. These patterns don't form overnight and they don't dissolve overnight either. But the process is real and it's reliable. And it's not about becoming someone else. It's about returning to who you were before the world told you otherwise. You're not broken. You're not failing. You're not weak for struggling. You're responding to a set of old beliefs and patterns that made sense once in childhood, but may no longer serve you. Therapy helps you bring those beliefs into the light. It helps you understand where they came from and what they've cost you and what else might be possible right now. It helps you build a new psychological loop, a new relationship to yourself, your thoughts, your emotions, and your choices. And over time, that changes everything. So if you're feeling stuck or frustrated with yourself for repeating the same patterns, I invite you to pause the self-judgment. Get curious. What belief might be underpinning this? What new belief might you be ready to grow into? Because change doesn't start with fixing yourself, it starts with understanding yourself and then accepting yourself. And that's where therapy comes in. And if you'd like help understanding who you are and your direction of travel in life, changing old negative beliefs, get in touch. Visit my website and book a free discovery call. And let's see what's possible.